Good morning, my people. You're welcome to today's political discussion. Today is the 6th of January 2026, and we are still discussing Nigerian politics. Now, there's a big problem in the APC, especially in Rivers State, between Wike and Governor Fubara. Who should Tinubu recognize as the political leader of Rivers State? That's the question I'm asking this morning, because the clashes they are having in the APC is going to affect the party in the long run. Between Wike and Fubara, who should be recognized as the political head of Rivers State? Mind you, Wike was a former governor of Rivers State, and Fubara is Wike's boy. Fubara is Wike's godfather. The structure in Rivers State belongs to Wike, despite the fact that most of these structures decamp to the APC. You see, politics is interesting, especially in Nigeria. Wike's boys are in APC. Wike is in PDP. Fubara is decamping to the APC to gain control of the state and the structure of that state. But it seems there is going to be a bit of difficulty of him doing that, because Wike's loyalists, irrespective of the political party they belong to, they still support Wike. Now, the national secretary of the APC is asking the Rivers State APC chairman not to undermine the governor because of personal reasons. If you have issues with him, don't just overlook the governor or look at the governor as useless. Because of Wike has issues with Fubara. Fubara is a member of the APC. That is what the national secretary of the APC is telling the Rivers APC chairman. Now, Wike, in his usual manner, responded and replied in a, I don't know how to put it, blasted the national secretary of the APC, saying that because we see 600 billion naira for Rivers State, that is why when they put eye. Now they put eye for the state. If you know what we did, he's telling the national secretary, if you know what we did for Tinubu, let's go back to 2023. What Wike did, most of the people that you see that are saying we support Tinubu could not sacrifice what Wike sacrificed for the re-election, for the election that brought in Tinubu. Rivers State is critical when it comes to southern Nigerian politics, especially the South. In terms of money, in terms of numbers, Rivers State has a high voter number. And what Wike did in the last election, my brother, it wowed everybody. Initially, it should be the Labour Party that won that state. But Wike played his own magic. Normally, as they play politics in Nigeria, Wike is critical to Tinubu in the next election. I'm not on the side of Wike because I know that Wike is one of the hated politicians in Nigeria. I'm not here on sentiment. When you look at Rivers State critically, Wike has structure. Wike can win elections. Wike can mobilize. Wike has the connections. Wike is an experienced politician. Look at Fubara. Fubara is moving through the waves of the people. I tell you, imagine a PDP person becoming an important member in Tinubu's political cabinet. It is not because of political party, it is because of the capacity he has when it comes to politics, mobilizing. Don't underrate because you hate him does not mean that Wike is not a good politician. Top 5 politicians in Nigeria today, we have Wike. As I'm saying this now, some people they'll be boiling. Why is this young man saying this thing? Wike, who is Wike? Is Wike God? We are not discussing whether Wike is God. We are discussing Nigerian politics. Every time I start, I will say we are discussing Nigerian politics. If you are discussing Venezuela politics, it's a different thing. So I don't think the national secretary of the APC needs to meddle in the affairs of Rivers State, except they want to scatter the party. I know that Wike usually is a person, anywhere he go on Lord himself. The way Wike replied to the national secretary of the APC was not in order. Let's look at the replies. Was not in order. The national secretary was not referring to Wike. He was referring to the Rivers State APC chairman. The governor is the 001 of the state. Normally, respect the position of the governor. The governor is a member of the APC. Wike is not a member of the APC. So you don't have to denigrate your governor because you have personal issues with him and you are aligning with a person that is not part of our party. Initially, I told you that it will be difficult it will be easier for Wike to enter the ADC than for Wike to be part of the APC. Because some elements in the APC would never, ever want Wike to be part of the APC. The role Wike is playing, it is good. That role is good for him. Look at the replies. Wike told the National Secretary, you people are eyeing 600 billion naira in my state. You people should find a way not to meddle in Rivers State politics. My attention has been drawn to the tirade of the Minister of the FCT against my person and my office as the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. This, as regards, is my position that all members of the National Working Committee must accord any sitting governor his due respect, and that the governors remain the leaders of the party in their state. This is where the problem is. Who would Tinubu recognize? Is it Wike or Fubara? Naturally, the governors remain the party. But you see, look at Kogi State. The governor is Ododo. The main person controlling the state is Yaya Bello. So Nigerian politics is complicated. That is why we are saying, restructure this country. We cannot continue in this mess. It is a mess. Imagine Fubara does not have, there's a constitution that gives him powers to rule the state. But somehow he's being controlled by some unforeseen forces. There's an agreement. If you know the monies that Rivers State has spent on this crisis, they will have used it to better the lives of the people. Yet most of the people, hey, my God, with the money Rivers State has, Rivers State should be another Lagos, like should surpass Lagos. But yet we had no human development index, no human development. All they know is build schools, build buildings. They are building buildings, and those buildings are not reflecting on the larger population. There's one thing to build a structure. There's one thing to make sure that structure you're building benefit the people, and you will see it in the lives of the people. If you want to start a political party, as dull as most Nigerians are, if you want to start a political party and you enter Rivers State, you go start. No ideology, no headway, just follow. No thoughts pattern of their own, no thinking, nothing, no reason of their own, just follow. With the monies they have in the state, that's why it's easier for a Wike to do and undo. Talk to people anyhow, because he knows he does not rate Rivers State people. The billions of naira that has been spent on this conflict can be able to do a lot of things. See Kano, let me not even talk about Kano State. Let's move on. So he said that no matter what, the governor is the leader of the party in their state. And Wike is saying, no, I don't want anything about, don't tell me that the governor is for here. Technically, I am the leader of the state. You see, after the issue Fubara had with Wike, they reinstated him. I thought that Fubara would be loyal, but we didn't know that Fubara had other plans. Fubara is not a politician. No. If I were Fubara, there are things I would do. I will commit political suicide, but that political suicide I will commit will all go down in that state. I will make sure. So Fubara did a lot of damage to Wike by joining the APC. Wike never saw that coming. So joining the APC, Fubara came out to say that I am the 001 of this state. And he's the leader of APC. And mind you, Tinubu that Wike is serving is APC. Tinubu is on and be say APC. I'm now trying to understand, why would Tinubu allow Fubara join the APC? If you are saying, why is this young man saying this? Tinubu is the leader of APC in Nigeria. He's the Jagaban. So if anybody wants to join the APC, if your state people are stopping you, go and meet Tinubu. So Fubara met Tinubu. Tinubu allowed Fubara to join the APC. And for Tinubu allowing Fubara, that means they want to put Wike in check. I tell you, they want to put Wike in check because they know that Wike no send. If Wike has political power, even Tinubu, he go deal with Tinubu. Forget. Wike, if you give him political power, if he becomes the president, Tinubu, they do this, they try now, they use maturity sometimes, they use restraint. If person like Wike or person like Rufai self is even a bit civil. If person like Wike holds political power like the presidency, if you know what you go do, okay, it is shocking that such innocuous statement can elicit such uncouth responses from a less than a member of the federal executive. He's calling Wike less than a member of the Federal Executive Council. For the avoidance of doubt, you know why he's calling Wike less than a member? Wike is appointed. They can remove Wike today, tomorrow. For the avoidance of doubt, our records indicate that Wike, Minister Wike, is not a member of our party, APC. So he lacks the local standing to dabble into the affairs of our party. And as the National Secretary of the APC, I am imbued with the responsibility to protect the interest of the party and all its members and structures. Hence, my comments on the affairs of the APC in Rivers cannot be an undue interference. So they are saying that, why are you interfering in politics in Rivers State? But I have a member, somebody who is a party member, so I have a right to interfere. That's what he's telling Wike. Now, I'm imbued with the responsibility to protect the interest of the party and all its members on the affairs of the APC in Rivers State and cannot be an undue interference in the affairs of Rivers State. As National Secretary, my activities cannot be confined to my home state, Osun State. So he said a lot of things. Lastly, let me read this last part. Let me also remind Nyesom Wike that his support for President Tinubu does not automatically make him a member of the APC. Millions of non-APC, which are Nigerians, also support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his own is no different. His attempt to destabilize our party in Rivers State will not be tolerated, and he cannot bring the spirit of PDP into the APC. I told you that it will be easier for a Wike to decamp to the ADC than for a APC to accept Wike. Wike is in a deep problem as we speak. So me, what I'm looking at, would Tinubu prefer a Wike who has structure than Fubara, who does not have structure? Whether you like it or not, Fubara is the governor of Rivers State. He is the leader of APC in Rivers State. But Fubara does not have political control. I tell you, he's not the political leader of APC in Rivers State, whether you like it or not. If not for Tinubu, what Wike will have done to Fubara? Fubara has the might to deal with Wike, but Fubara does not have the sagacity to do so. So as it stands today, I see what is going to happen next, and I'm going to say it. Wike will be used and dumped after 2027. Go and write this down. Wike will not be needed because many elements in the APC do not like him and his person and his way of doing things. Wike has created a lot of enemies, both in Rivers State and outside Rivers State. Those people you see that are supporting Wike is because of what Wike has to offer, because of their own political survival. And they trust Wike has the skills, political skills, to sustain his political movement in Rivers State. That's why most of them are supporting Wike. Not because of, like, they genuinely like his person, no. So after, Tinubu needs Wike for 2027. Tinubu also needs Fubara for stability of Rivers State. Tinubu needs Fubara to checkmate Wike in Rivers State. Go and mark this. I tell you, Wike don't enter one chest. I knew that one day there will be a problem between the president and Wike, and this is going to be the start. Would the president sacrifice his governors, his national secretary, the officials, the National Working Committee, because the National Working Committee is supporting Fubara as a leader of the party in the state, but Wike is saying no, and Wike is saying that they should face their fraud and not dabble in the politics in Rivers State. Now, why are people saying we should allow Wike do his thing? They said that amongst all these people that are around the President Tinubu, nobody delivered like Wike. Nobody delivered. No single person. All those Lagos boys, they were in Lagos when Obi beat Tinubu blue black. Before they now start adjusting, they adjust. They slim fit Obi vote. They slim fit it so that you can, they can't slim fit them to the extent that, okay, they just say, let us allow him win, but not with margin. But Wike Wike sat down on the votes of people in Rivers State and made sure he allocated it. He sit down like Oga. He allocated the governorship to his own PDP. You see the Fubara you're talking about. Politics is a game of interest. No permanent friend, no permanent enemy, but permanent interest. It's not emotions. So if I'm analyzing this particular Fubara issue now, don't say, is that our support? No, morality does not count in all this. All this discussion we're discussing, there's no morality here. If you are going to stick to morality, change the system. If you are not changing the system, don't blame the player, just blame the game. That's how the game is. Imagine you enter a football field and you want to use your hand because your leg is paining you. You want to use your hand and start moving the ball. No, that's not the rules of the game. You better go to a basketball. That's where they use hands, or volleyball. So that's how politics is in Nigeria. Nigerian politics is critical and different from many other politics, the way they play politics in the world. So Wike, against all odds, they rejected the Fubara's candidacy in Rivers State. Wike, against all odds, brought Fubara, did almost everything for Fubara, campaigned for Fubara. Whatever I did, if it is left for Fubara, APC will not win the presidential candidacy in Rivers State. PDP will not win the governorship candidacy in Rivers State if it is left for Fubara. But Wike chested everything. And what do you expect? You see, I blame the people of Rivers State. Nobody is conscious of how the thing is affecting them, this fight. Nobody is picking a stand anywhere but left face. Today you see people supporting Fubara. Tomorrow you see Wike in a state, people go gather. They will shout Wike praise. You see other people in the state, they go gather. They will shout Fubara praise. You see the Nigerian political when I look at Nigerians and I look at the way they do their things, the way when they open their mouth and say some things, I just wonder which kind of school will they go for this country? Which kind we go to school to sharpen our senses, 5 senses, sharpen it so that we can be creative and make the world a better place. But we just go to school to become more duller. So many dull people, right? So many, and they are bragging with their dullness. They go to oh, if I were Tinubu, what I would do is that I will use Wike to win my second term. I will use Wike to win second term. I will succumb to what he wants to do in Rivers State if I were Tinubu, because critically, Wike is very instrumental. Which politician in the APC that can be compared to Wike? Just name one politician. Fubara is a product of all these shenanigans. Like I said, they rejected Fubara. Fubara never did anything critical prior to the 2023 elections. It was Wike that did all the... He was supporting this, he was mobilizing, he was doing this and that. People died during the election. Wike did a lot. Some governors in Northern Nigeria were asking Wike, how did you carry out this? How do you do this? Because they were shocked at the mobilization. Which politician in the APC that can deliver like Wike? Tell me one. Mind you, Wike is one of my most hated politicians. Okay, let me talk about morality now. Because since people want me to talk about morality, normally, Wike should allow the governor rule the state. Wike should not interfere in the activities of the governor. But I can't help it, because the governor and Wike, they know what they did behind closed doors. They were going to meet Tinubu in a democratic system of government. We are going to meet Tinubu to settle fight, a governor and a minister. The minister refused to allow a governor work. There's a constitution, and you think we are okay. So next time I'm talking about restructuring Nigeria, know why I'm saying so. Because the system is abnormal. With this system, we cannot go far. You see what the system has brought to Rivers State. The people of Rivers State cannot even get good governance because of the system warrants all these shenanigans, these rubbish activities from both Wike and the governor. You see, the president also is adding insult to injury. Because number one, his own greed, he wants to take over Rivers State. So whatever is going to happen for him to take over Rivers State, he doesn't care. Somebody said that because of Wike, he declared a state of emergency. Because of Wike, he removed the sitting governor. Tinubu has his own plan because that is the system. When we talk about restructuring, some people go say, Nigeria can be better. Let's pray. How do you make it better? You are building a house on a foundation, on a faulty foundation, and you want to do things well. You want to make sure the building is strong. You destroy the foundation. You cannot work like this with this constitution. If you don't amend it, if you don't reorganize everything, if you don't make things regional, there are many things to say about Nigeria. I mean, restructuring, but yet people will not agree. But still, you expect things to get better. Forget, Wike will be retained. Wike has worked. Forget his arrogance. That is arrogant. You are being emotional. You are being emotional. Forget he's so arrogant. The way he talks, his arrogance made him deliver. It is about results. I told you, politics is about your strategy, what you have, what are you willing to sacrifice. It's not emotions. And the way Wike used to talk like this and that. We don't like him because of. But you don't like the people that don't talk like that. They could not deliver their states to Tinubu. Even the national secretary. Look at Osun State. The president lost in Osun State. Osun State is a court party. Even the same national secretary, he refused a delegate from joining the APC. So what are we saying? The national secretary is in his right to protect his party. But I'm saying if I were Tinubu, I'm not saying this. I will not throw Wike away. I will use him and dump him, but this is not the right time to dump Wike. This is, you still, because if you fight Wike now position on his own. No. Maybe you no go agree, you no go believe. Wike, who is Wike? This and that. Now so PDP talk say who is Wike? Who is Wike? Is bigger than the PDP. Wike don't pursue all of them, come up for PDP. Pursue a whole article come up for PDP. Do you know what it is? Frustrated article out of PDP. Do you know what it is? Although they get support from Jagaban. Even without that, when Buhari was president, Wike stood his ground to defend the structures of PDP. Wike stood his ground. Remember when they want to arrest Odili? Wike went there and rescued Odili. So if Tinubu should make sure he secures his second term. He does not want an opposition in Wike. If Wike verse come up for opposition, Wike na politician, he can change his color anytime, any day. He go do like better person, join the opposition. He go do so many things. And South, if Wike joins the opposition, South is gone. Forget it. For me, the political leader of River State, according to Nigerian politics, the reality on ground, technically, is Nyesom Wike.